Today is Election Day, which means it's our chance to fight back. I'm Nathan Seelove, and this is Factually Biased. Today is Election Day, which means that we all need to get out and vote. Make no mistake, this election is a referendum on the president and his party. We can either affirm the cruel and discriminatory policies that have been put forth by this administration and his party, or we can condemn it and demonstrate to the rest of the world that that is not who we as Americans are. And you owe it to those that this administration has oppressed and that this party has oppressed to get out and make your vote count. You owe it to the thousands of Native Americans who have had their votes suppressed in the state of North Dakota because they have P.O. boxes instead of street addresses. You owe it to the African American community who has suffered at the hands of blatantly discriminatory policies supported by this administration, like stop and frisk, a practice that is racist in practice, a practice that is completely ineffective, and a practice that is blatantly unconstitutional. You owe it to 2,654 migrant children that were separated from their parents against their will and put in cages. A cruel and unnecessary policy. And to the 120 migrant children that are still separate from their parents against their will. You owe it to the migrants that are coming to the United States to seek asylum, that are being used as rhetorical pawns in Donald Trump's narrative. As he calls people invaders, they are simply asylum seekers that are fleeing countries that the United States helped destabilize. You owe it to the trans community, who is at risk of being defined out of existence by this administration. You owe it to people with pre-existing conditions. As Donald Trump stands up at podiums night after night and declares that the Republican Party will protect pre-existing conditions, his administration supports a lawsuit that would overturn that aspect of the Affordable Care Act. You owe it to reality, because Donald Trump averages at 5 false statements a day in the year 2018. You owe it to the Constitution, whose foundations have been attacked by this president in his attempts to overturn birthright citizenship guaranteed by the 14th Amendment, his support for torture, which is a cruel and unusual punishment, and his attacks on the free press. Now, I could talk about the transgressions that Donald Trump has committed all day, but we don't have that much time. Now, you can point to other presidents and say that they have done wrong as well, and I'm not disputing that at all, and that should be called out. But they're not president right now. Donald Trump is. This is the administration before us, and this is the administration that we have a chance to give a referendum of. Now, the Democrats running in your district might not be perfect, but they are a refutation of the Republican Party. Now, I'm not saying you should just vote for anybody with a D next to their name, but you should consider how many Republicans have spoken out against this president and how many have capitulated to his every whim. You owe it to the marginalized groups that I've talked about to make your vote count and make your vote heard. We have a chance to take a stand against this administration, and we cannot waste it. But at the same time, our work does not end at the ballot box, because we need to continue to organize. These problems, even if Democrats take control of the Senate and the House, these problems won't just go away. We need to organize. We need to call congressional representatives. We need to show up at their offices. We need to identify who can solve these problems and put pressure on them until they do. And if they don't, during the next election cycle, we need to vote them out. Because that is who we are as Americans. When we see an injustice, we cannot sit idly by. We have to do something. And today, you have a chance to do something. Voter turnout in past midterm elections is absolutely disgraceful. We can change that today. You can change that today. So get out there and vote. And after you vote, understand that your work has just begun. Because there is so much else that needs to be done after the ballot boxes close. And we will continue to fight against the oppressive policies of this administration. Because that is who we are. That's all I got for you today. Thank you so much for watching. Get out and vote. If you liked this video, please give it a like, a share, and if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. Leave a comment down below. Tell me what you thought, and have a great election day. And did I mention vote?